Hello YouTube, it's your girl Kimberly. Thank you so much for coming back to my YouTube channel. So in this video we are going to discuss Huda Beauty's Tantour versus Fenty Beauty's Freestyle Cream Bronzer. So if you want to know which one's better, keep watching this video. Okay, so before we get into the beauty battle and which bronzer is better, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you'll be caught up whenever new beauty products launch. If I get them, you'll be able to hear why they're great or not so great before you spend your coins. All right, so hit that subscribe button. All right, so let's get into it. So earlier, was that this month? No, that was April. Wow, that's crazy. Last month Rihanna launched her cream bronzers and blushes. During this video I'm probably gonna face this down a lot because if you can see, it like does like a reflecty thing that like is annoying. So so she launched these bronzers. They came out, I think it was kind of like a mixed bag. Some people didn't like them, some people loved them, some people are just Fenty fangirls and they're gonna say great things regardless. And then I was kind of seeing a lot of comparisons to Huda Beauty's Tantour, which is another cream bronzer. So as I seen people kind of talking about the two, I was like, well, I have both. I love one and use it a lot. The other one is new and I'm starting to use it. So let me kind of compare the two. So first I will start off with the specs of each. So the Tantour from I'll also tell you guys the shade I have. Unfortunately, I'm only going to be talking about my experiences with tan from Tantour and chocolate from Fenty Beauty. In terms of if there's issues with shades that are lighter or darker, I'm not really going to be able to speak to those because really I didn't try the whole line. I only tried these two. So just try to keep that in mind. So this is tan from Huda Beauty. It is very used and I've had it for a while. So this is a judgment-free zone. So as you can see, I did hit pan on it. This costs $30 and you get 0.38 ounces of product. So that is for the Huda Beauty. So for the Fenty Beauty, you get 0.22 ounces of product and it's $32. I have the shade chocolate, so I've been using it, so you'll see my little finger mark in the middle of it. But as you can see, that is the similar kind of brown. So if you want to see it side by side, I'm going to show you guys just two. They're not the exact same. Every company kind of has like their own variations of their colors and stuff like that, but this is a side by side of the chocolate and the Tantour. So as you can see, I would say that the chocolate has more of like a red kind of hue, and then the Tantour is a little more neutral or cool base kind of. So they're not exactly the same color. So that's the first part. There was a darker shade for Fenty, but I felt like that would have been a little too dark or too dramatic of a highlight for me. I mean, of a contour for me. So that's why I didn't get it. But they're not the same exact shade. So, but they just both work for me. So that's why those are the two that I have. My first impressions of both, Tantour, which I'm wearing now, has way more pigment. Like when I put on Tantour and blend it out, it's very clear that that's my contour. It's done. It needs to be blended. That way I will not see it. And it's more of a creamy, thick formula. This is like an oily kind of cream and it goes on a lot more transparent than the Tantour does, and I'll show you guys that a little bit later. So in terms of the price, Huda Beauty is less money for more product, so it pretty much wins on the price. Fenty, you're partially paying for the name. It is what it is. Like, I've accepted it. I hope you do too. But I also noticed that in terms of people with other skin tones, skin types, I've noticed that people who have oily skin, because it is more oily and less creamy, it kind of just like glides right off their face a little, and they keep having to pack more and more product to get that color. Whereas this one, because it is more creamy and less oily, it kind of has that staying power, packs that punch, and works for oily skin types. I do have combination skin, so this area is kind of the tricky part of my face, where this part is dry, but then I have to blend it into an oily area of my face. So so this, I will say, this is a perfect example. So that is the Tantour right there for my contour, and you can see how it's like naturally like a little shiny right there. So I kind of need the best of both worlds, where it's gonna apply to dry skin without looking patchy, but blend on oily skin and still have that color. And it's a little more difficult to achieve with the Fenty. Like, it's more oily, more slippage compared to the creamy, more thick formula of the Huda Beauty. So I do imagine though, if your whole face is dry, that this is probably way easier to use and to blend, where this might feel like it has like a little tugging, or like it's more it doesn't go on as smooth if you have dry skin already. So definitely things to take into account for your skin type. So let's get into the swatches and talk some more. Okay, so the first swatch I'm going to do is the Fenty Beauty. So I am doing these swatches on my arm. So my arm has hair, because like I'm human. So it's not going to be the exact same as like a seamless kind of on my face swatch, but I feel like it will get the point across. So that is a Fenty Beauty on my hand. And as you can see, when I put it on, see how it has like that shiny kind of oily like residue with it. So I mean, with it being a cream, it's always hard to find a balance of like the creaminess versus the oiliness, and I think a lot of products struggle with this. So unfortunately, it's the same issue with the blushes, which is why one of them, the not daiquiri dip, the crushing on Cupid, I think is the name of it, I keep constantly having to play with it to figure it out. So this is the Tantour in tan, and this is going to be underneath the so I just did one swipe of that one. So with the Fenty, I was doing like one or two. That's just one swipe of that, and as you can see, it is going to come out more matte and a lot more opaque. So I mean, I just use bronzer for contour, so that opaqueness is kind of important for me. But I can imagine if you're putting it all over, like for people, my hairline comes down pretty far, so I don't do it, but some people like contour their foreheads and stuff, and I can imagine that maybe something with as much pigment as the Tantour can be problematic for like blending out your makeup and making it mix with your foundation. I could definitely see that. So at that point, you would probably want to reach for the Fenty instead of the Huda Beauty. In terms of who I think is the ultimate winner of this battle, I have to go with Huda Beauty, because one, even though there's less shades, which I hope they extend the shade range and add more options, more product for less money is always going to win in my book. Like, money is a limited resource and we can't blow it all on makeup, so why not get something that's going to last, have more product, and be the most affordable option? So Huda Beauty wins off of that. But also, as you can see how opaque that is compared to the Fenty, like I would probably, in order to get the Fenty this dark, have to like go back in again and again. So I really just like that one swipe pigmentation, and fortunately that's something that the Fenty cream bronzer doesn't have. So I definitely think there are uses for both depending on your skin type and your skin tone. So definitely, especially skin type, try it out, see how it works for you. But I'm gonna have to declare the winner as Huda Beauty. So thank you so much for coming to my video and watching it, and I will see you next time.